Day life with coach. Who is seeing my new look? I'm sure some of you will wonder, what's happening? You look different. What happened to your hair? Anyways, we are here. And please don't get distracted by the hair. Look at the what do you say? Focus on the message, not the messenger. So get the message that we have for you today, and don't worry about the messenger. The messenger is gonna be all right. Okay. Sorry, let me adjust my settings properly and be sure that we are ready for this conversation. Are you ready for this conversation? Are you sure you are ready? If you're ready, put it in the comment section. Hey, Queens, welcome to today's conversation, today's live Facebook Live on the topic setting the right boundaries in your relationship as a young lady. Now, if you are a single lady or a newly married, or those in the early years of their marriage, this is for you. This conversation is for you. I am Christy, the kid is like you know, and I'm your early marriage coach. I'll be taking you on this conversation today as we dive into the biblical principles and wisdom that will protect you, protect your heart, and help you to honor your future husband and also build a rock-based relationship. So you want to build a relationship that's going to last, a relationship that will thrive and all, then it's important for you to know what to do in your relationship with people, in your relationship with your spouse, in your relationship with the person you're hoping to settle down with. So this conversation is one that you want to grab your Bible, grab your notepad and your pen, and sit down with a cup of coffee. But if the weather is too hot for a cup of coffee, you can also go with a cup of cold milk, right? Because some of the things that are going to be coming to hit you might not be very palatable to swallow. But I am very much sure that by the end of this conversation, you will find it very, very rewarding. You'll find it very, very interesting, and you'll find it very educative. Because you know the truth of the matter is our generation is a generation that have a lot of information out there. There is so much information with tiny little wisdom inside, right? But the conversation we're going to have is a conversation that is with wisdom, and also real, because I'm going to be sharing also partly with my own experience and what I've gone through in my own relationship life growing up. So it's not something that's just theoretical. It's not a cliche. It's not something that is picked up from the streets of the internet. It's something that is dear to my heart and something that I know someone out there who is willing to grow, will hear and then live their life better. Right? So you know what boundary is. I'm not here to come and start defining boundaries for you. I am very much sure that you know what boundaries are. Now, your boundaries in life are like your lifeguards. They are like your lifeguard in an ocean. If you leave them, you're going to get drowned. But if you hold on to them, then you're going to be saved. So you can't afford not to have boundaries in life. Boundaries are like your lifeguard. You leave them, you're literally going to drown. Certain boundaries are not also pushing that man away. That's your man, that's your boyfriend, that's your husband. It is not you pushing them away. It is you knowing that, this is for the good of both you and me. It is God's loving guardrails in your life that helps to protect you and help you to thrive in the relationship. Some people think that boundaries are limitations. Boundaries are, obstacles. Boundaries are, caging. All of those things we look at boundary as, but boundaries are life. They are savers. Imagine a country that doesn't have borders, like call it. They don't have boundaries. They don't have where their land ends, land ends, and where the next person's land begins. We're hearing stories of South Africans claiming that they want Black people who are Africans to leave their country. It's funny because they could say that because there is a boundary somewhere that shows this is where South Africa begins and this is where it ends. So as long as you are within the border of those boundaries, you are in their country. So they have a right to say whatever they want to say. However, if there was no boundary, everybody stay where, We'll be going to America and still claim that we are in our country because, I mean, there's no boundary. There's nothing to claim to that, oh, this is where my country starts and this is where your country stops. It's not, most times it's not necessarily the huge tall walls that is built. In the olden days, they have that. In the Bible days, they had that rising, high riser walls and all of that to protect their own land, their own community, their own town, whatever they called it then. And then when you pass it, that means you are now saying, I want to enter into your space. So those are examples or an expression of what boundaries are like. Now, you know how we secure our lives in the home by having guardrails. If you live in a duplex, you definitely have a staircase inside your house. And what it also means that there must be a guardrail, especially if you have children. As a matter of fact, for everybody, imagine you are just rushing to climb downstairs and there's no guardrail. You are just rushing. You could fall off from the staircase and hit your head and have an accident. So that guardrails, that guardrail that you have in your house is for protection. That's the same way boundaries are for protection. You can place your hands on them and be safe. You hold them to help you move faster. You hold them to help you stay safe, because without them you can fall into danger. So that's what boundaries is all about. Boundaries are not walls, they are wisdom. Boundaries are not walls, they are wisdom. Let's look at why boundaries even matter. Why does it matter to have boundaries? Why does it matter to have boundaries? Now, you can think of this boundary like the Garden of Eden, where God told, Adam and Eve, you're going to eat everything in this garden except this one tree. So the Bible puts it that you can eat from any of these trees except this one. That is the tree of good and bad, and the tree of knowledge of good and bad. The tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and bad. So that's a boundary. God is saying you can go from here to here, you can take this and that, but you see this particular one, you are not to touch it. And how do we respond to that? How did they respond to that? They broke that boundary. They crossed the line. And we know that as parents, you also set boundaries for your children. If you don't want your children to become a mayhem to the society, you must start early to teach them boundaries. You must start early to inculcate in them to not just identify boundaries, but to learn to respect boundaries when they say it. Because if they don't learn it from you, they carry it outside and then they make a mess of their lives, and they become people who the society will abhor. They become people who the society wouldn't want to have anything to do with, because their life is a problem for others. So how do we ensure that our boundaries are not a problem? They are not also not available or blood. So when God asked Adam and Eve, don't eat from this fruit, he wasn't trying to restrict their joy. He was trying to protect them from pain. Because the reason why we have the level of pain we have in our world today is simply because someone refused to stay within the limits of their boundaries. A couple refused to stay within the limits of their boundaries. They thought that God was trying to cage them. God was trying to make them not to have liberty to do what they love. I usually say that the freest man, if there's a word like that, is a madman. He can wander from here pillar to post. In fact, even when there is restriction of movement, let's say people are asked not to go out, it doesn't concern a madman. A madman can, or a mad woman can just be going where they are going. It doesn't concern them. If you like, say no, but if you come out, I'll shoot you. What is that? What's there? You self, you know that this one is useless for what time. Whatever you are pursuing, whatever you want to enforce, it does not concern them. So you are not even after them. They are very free. So do you want that kind of freedom? Or do you want to, by yourself, restrict yourself before someone else have to? Because you know what? If those people who have the greatest freedom want to come back to becoming normal human beings that are respected, normal human beings that are respected in the society, then they have to come to a place where they will their freedom will also be restricted. Because they say that where your freedom ends is where the next person's freedom begins. So that madman will need to go to the rehabilitation center. And when he goes there, he has been limited too. So that means he can't also go out when he loves. He can't like go to where he likes and do whatever he likes. No, he has to limit himself within the confines of that safe place that is trying to bring him to normalcy and thinking properly. So if you are thinking that freedom is the best thing you can ever have, freedom is a myth, is an illusion. You have to restrict yourself by yourself. Freedom is being naked, but would you rather be naked, or would you want to restrict yourself by wearing clothes and looking decent and respectable? So those are some of the things that you consider when you are thinking about boundaries. Boundaries are not things that you need to shy away from. They are not things that you need to worry so much about how it's going to affect you or make your life boring. You want fun. Boundaries are not synonymous to um, caging. Boundaries also are not the opposite of freedom. No, they are not. They work hand in hand. As a matter of fact, if you have children and you have a play area in your home, the best way to make it safe is to put boundaries. Get a fence. Get a playing pen. How do they even put it? So that they can play within. They are safe as long as they are within that area that is protected. The moment they step out, they are already getting themselves into trouble and they can get into what they do not even know. So boundary is very, very important. You cannot do without boundaries. You cannot do without boundaries. You have to enforce boundaries in your own life. And you can also set boundaries for your relationship if you, as a human being, do not have boundaries for yourself. If you have not set boundaries for your own life, how do you want to set it in your relationship? How do you want to set it in a relationship? Okay. Apologies for that. Okay, so I was talking about boundaries, right? And I said if you have no boundaries set in your life, you are like a city without walls, like the Bible said. In Proverbs 25 verse 28, the Bible said, whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. What is this scripture telling us? If you don't have the capacity to control yourself, for instance, I set up where I'm doing my live streaming. I set up myself and I sat myself down to be able to do this. If I can't control that, and it has to be that someone has to carry me, put me on the seat, set up my plate, my laptop, my phone and everything, and then tell me what to say per time. I don't have a rule over my spirit. If I'm also going to be allowing my anger to dictate how I behave, how I live, then I don't also have I don't have what's it called now? Rulership over my spirit. The Bible says that the spirit of a prophet is subject to the prophet. So whatever you are doing, don't say this person made me do. One of the things that I do not condone in my children is hearing them say, is this one that did this? You ask party A, why did you do this? Party A will tell you it's because this one say I should do it. And I'm like, hello, you are literally giving over the remote of your life to someone else. So would you want such thing about you, or do you want to take control of your life, take control of your emotions, take control of every area of your life, so that you will not be in a place where you are constantly blaming someone or accusing someone of being the person who is, behind it all and all. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So as a young lady, we know that we are all wired to give, at least for the most of us. We are wired to give, we are wired to nurture, we are wired to pour out love. Hello, the Proverbs 31 women vibes. The Proverbs 31 woman gang. Where are you people? Show with a show of a hand. Right? You are the Proverbs 31 woman. You love, I know. I know that you want to always give. But if you have no boundaries with those love that you have, with that desire to nurture, with that outpouring of love that is your second nature, you risk burnout. Number one, you risk stress. Number two, you risk resentment. You will resent and resent and resent and resent. You risk bitterness. You risk heartbreaks. Yes, if you are just open, that's why people they say, but why does bad things happen to good people? It's not about bad things happening to good people. It's about the good people not having the wisdom and then the discernment to know where to draw the line for any good thing they are doing. Because you cannot be doing good thing without having boundaries. You cannot. My coach to say is uncultured kindness. Niceness is an uncultured kindness. You cannot be just nice. You have to be kind, yeah, but there has to be some boundaries set to those kindness. There has to be some boundaries set to those goodness. Because if you just want to keep doing good without even considering where to draw the line, pouring love without looking at, are you pouring it in the right place? Are you doing it in the right way? Then you will be shocked at how disappointed, frustrated, betrayed, denied, hurt, and resentful that you will become. So it's important for us to take note of this whole thing. Or you can even go to the extreme end of losing your God-given identity. A lot of people have lost their sense of identity. They don't recognize who they are anymore. They don't even know where they stand. They are just like, what am I doing? Where am I? Where am I on this journey? What's my life about? They are doubting themselves. They are second guessing themselves because of what they have put themselves in. You have so loved that you don't even know. You don't even recognize yourself anymore. And we women, we are very fond of this. We are a victim of not taking care of ourselves and focusing on taking care of other people. Madam, do good. When they do good for himself, please, that's not what Bible encourages us to do. We should actually not just pour into others, but pour into ourselves. One of the webinars we did recently in the Inner Circle program run by Coach Wendy Oleke was talking about rest, how to pour into yourself. You cannot just love other people without loving yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to pour into yourself before you can pour into others. So before you start complaining of how people are always betraying you, check your boundaries. Some of you don't have boundaries. Anybody can be your friend. No. Everybody cannot be my friend though. No. You cannot just be my friend. There has to be some qualifications before you enter that space. Because I guard my space jealously. I guard an access to me jealously. But some of us just allow anybody goes, anything. That I knew, even when I was much younger, that I can't date just about any guy. Because I wasn't thinking that dating should be done just to feel in. Yeah, when we were young adults, let's say just about 18, 19 thereabouts, you just left secondary school and you are feeling like, oh, now I have the liberty to date a guy, have a boyfriend, the feeling. Oh, I remember when I was in XS3, one guy asked me out. I told him, you have to give me time to think about it. As a fine girl and a girl that also comes first in class, you are going to be very hot and guys will be coming after you. And of course, I was a hot babe. Yeah. And I told him, I'm going to think about it. When I eventually thought about it, I said, you know what? I'll give it a try. But don't think it too much. Because whatever we are doing, it don't really day like that. Okay? And I knew that wherever living span, this can happen. There was phone already at that time, but it's not as rampant as it is now, where, you keep talking with the person like you never stopped seeing each other. So, what am I trying to say? When you are much younger, you open yourself up to a lot of people that you shouldn't open yourself to and endanger your own life. You need to be very careful. Now, Research from the Gottman Institute backs this ideology that being too nice and being too loving and nurturing without setting boundaries will make you lose yourself. Because couples with clear mutual respect, that is, couples that have set boundaries in their relationship, we are proving to have better marriages. We are proving to have their marriages last longer than those who doesn't. So if you have boundaries in your relationship, you are not just trying to secure yourself, you're not just trying to restrict people from having access to you, you are trying to protect what God has given to you. Because if it's in terms of marriage, your marriage will last longer, where both of you understand the concept of boundaries and are able to set those boundaries. All right, set those boundaries and keep to it, and not think that you can just be doing whatever you come up with in your head. Proverbs 4:23 also says that above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Another translation says, guard your heart with all diligence. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. So what does that mean? It means that you need to control what thoughts you condone in your head. It's not everything that comes up in your head that you have to execute or say out. Sometimes when I hear what people say with their mouth or what they share, I'm wondering, is this not some thought that if it should come into your head normally, you should actually knock it off or not even allow it to settle in? Like, you should actually knock this kind of thought out and plead the blood on top. But you see people who clearly are accepting those thoughts, even sharing it like it doesn't matter. They're sharing like, oh, this is what it should be like. But it shouldn't be like that. Someone is saying, oh, people are sharing some nasty things online now. You need to set boundaries. Boundaries are your lifeguard. If there's nothing you take away from this class, make sure that you don't lose the thought that boundaries are your life. They will guard your life. They'll protect your life. They will save you, and they will make you or mar you. All right? So keep that at the back of your mind and know that you can't just live your life anyhow. Guard your life, because your heart sets the tone for your entire life. What comes from your heart? The Bible says that what goes into the mouth is not what destroys it, or what condemns it, or what makes it sinful. It is what comes out from the body that corrupts the entire body. That is the thoughts of your heart. The thinking of your mind is what will corrupt your entire body. It's not about what you eat. Yes, those things are supposed to be healthy. But what Jesus was trying to imply in that scripture is that while you are paying attention to eating the right things or the clean things, also pay attention to what is going on in your mind. Your mind can be so rotten, so rotten, but you are busy chasing shadows. You are thinking all manner of thoughts. Knock it off whenever you get them. The devil wages war in our minds, because that is where the war happens. That is where the war happens. So if you don't want to lose that battle, you need to guard your heart. You need to guard your heart jealously. You need to guard your heart diligently. Never miss that. So if as you are guarding your heart, you are not just guarding your heart for your entire life. It's also for your relationships. Because as you guard your heart against the evil thoughts that can come into it, you're also guarding your heart in your relationship. So you need to guard it wisely. Now, have you ever said yes to date night? Someone calls you for a date night, tells you, I want to take you out, even when you did not plan it, even when it is against what you already planned to do for the day, even when you are exhausted, but you just want to keep the peace in that relationship and you say yes to it? Have you ever agreed to do something that you clearly is not comfortable with just so you can please that person you are in a relationship with? That is a dangerous place to be. That is a dangerous place because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you will get exhausted from trying so hard to please someone who cannot be pleased. You are trying so hard. So ensure that whatever you do, you guard your heart, you guard your mind, you guard your relationships. You don't want to be found in a place where you are struggling to maintain boundaries or you are blurring the lines of boundaries. So, have you also been in a place where you ignore the red flag? A very obvious red flag because you think he's going to change? Girl, that's boundary blindness. That's you being blinded by illusion, not love. You need to set boundaries because what boundaries say in such situation is that I love you, but I also love me and I love God. As much as I love you, I will also love myself. I cannot love you against loving myself. I cannot love you against loving God. My love for God should actually top my love for any other person. So if it's not working, then you should recognize when it stops working. If you can't fix it, then you need to take a walk. I'm talking about when you are still in a relationship, not in the marriage aspect of it. Of course, there are also situations or times when you need to walk away from a marriage when it gets to that point where your life becomes threatened in it. So what am I trying to say? Do not blur the line of your boundaries. Never let your love for a man take away the relationship you have with God. Do not let that happen. Whatever be the case, you must maintain the relationship you have with God and not let it be ruined by just anybody, just because you love somebody. One prayer I would like you to pray today is Lord, give me discernment to set boundaries that honor you. Give me discernment to set boundaries that honor you. Protect my peace and build godly love. I want you to say that prayer in all honesty with all your heart. Because if you don't have discernment, you will not recognize when someone is actually crossing the line. No. You will not recognize. You will know. You will think it's still okay, it's still normal. No, it's not. So recognize when your boundaries are being infringed and begin to do something about it. So I also want to encourage you. If you have been in a relationship where the person has constantly blurred the line of relationship, you need to begin to review that relationship. Review the relationship and be sure that that relationship is still serving its purpose. Because if you don't, then you're going to be in trouble and things will spoil. You would not even know. Things will spoil and you wouldn't know. So, how do you now begin to build these boundaries? But before we go into that, I want us to look at types of boundaries that we have. Let's look at some of the boundaries that we have. Now, there are about 5 boundaries I want us to talk about today. These boundaries are a life-saving for you. They are a necessity. Do not make light of it. You need them for your life. There are 5 types of boundaries that we're going to talk about today. The first is your emotional boundaries. The second is physical boundaries. The third is time and energy boundaries. The fourth is communication and digital boundaries. And the last is social and digital boundaries. So you need to know all of these boundaries. Have them in your head and begin to live with them. So I said the first one we're going to look at is emotional boundaries. What is emotional boundaries? It is owning your emotions, not his own. Some of you want to carry the emotion of somebody else, embrace it, carry it, back it, strap it on your back like a baby and nurture it. You are not your man's emotional thermostat. They are their own emotional thermostat. The same way you are your own emotional thermostat. Galatians 6:5 reminds us that for each one should carry their own load or carry their own burden. Why will you allow someone to control you by their own emotions, by the way they do the things they do? When somebody is angry, don't let them say, oh yeah, the reason why I'm angry. Yes, you can contribute to that, but it is still their choices to decide if they will stay in that place or not. It is their choice. It's their decision. Don't let them put it on you. Allowing your partner or your boyfriend to dump their emotions on you always will not just weigh you down, it will drain you emotionally too. So you see, you cannot let someone to dump their emotions on you. They are always angry. They are making you feel like you are always the reason why they are angry. They beat you up and then they put the blame on you that is because of the way you spoke. Uncle, if you see a soldier woman, will you still slap her like that? I'm not even talking about a fellow man. That woman you are turning into a punching bag. If you see an army woman, will you see her, no matter what she said to you, do you think you will ever be tempted to slap her? Not to talk of your fellow man who is a soldier. You know, you will not live to tell the story if you try it. You shall not live to tell the story. No, you will not. You will suddenly have self-control. You suddenly have anger management. You suddenly have the spirit of patience and endurance. But it's only when it comes to that woman who God has given into your life to help you. That's where all your energy will come out. That's where all your power will come out. Why are you doing that? So, do not allow someone to dump their emotions on you. Now, when you are in a situation where it looks like this person is trying to dump their emotions on you, let's say your boyfriend or your husband, you can say something like, I feel overwhelmed. When our plans change in the last minute, probably you are supposed to go for something and then they just come in and say, you know what, this is not going to work. This is not what we're going to do. Excuse me. And you are feeling someone is just getting to you. This person is just making me feel agitated. This person is getting me really upset. In that moment, the way you handle it matters so much. So, calmly tell the person, I feel overwhelmed. When you change our plans in the last minute, can we communicate earlier when things are going to change like this, so that it can help me to plan myself better and be ready for whatever thing we need to do? Instead of saying, oh, you are just messing me up. You just messed up. You're always making me feel terrible. You're always scattering my plans. That is sounding more accusative. When your husband upsets you or your boyfriend makes you angry, you can say, I feel sad that at the way you spoke to me earlier, I feel disappointed that we couldn't do what you already said we were going to do. Is there a way to improve on that so that subsequently it's not going to repeat again? Rather than saying you are just wicked, you never do anything good for me, you don't even love me anymore, you are just treating me like a trash, oh this is this, oh you are just, oh you did, oh you. Anytime you are making statements with you, it is accusative already. It comes off accusatory. It comes off in a tone that makes the person want to defend themselves. So they want to defend themselves naturally. However, if you come with I statement, it makes the person feel less defensive. It makes the person feel less moved or tempted to come and start arguing with you. Instead, they will start seeing things from your point of view, and they will be able to look at things and know where you are at that time. So you also should not do what we call silent treatment to your spouse or your partner. We women, hey, we like it so much. I was in that school of thought, but I have left you people in that WhatsApp group. You see all this, you being keeping malice with your partner. You just be giving one word answer. When it gets to that point, please tell the person, let's sit down and deal with this issue. There is no pretending about it. There is no forming that everything is okay when everything is not. Speak out. Say something. Have conversations like matured adults. So no silent treatment. And also don't be a people pleaser. You can express your hurt. You can express your anger. You can express your emotions without putting the blame. Like I said, use I statements, not you. Use I statements, not you. Now, even Jesus in the Bible owned up to his emotions. Remember when he was going to die on the cross at the Garden of Gethsemane, where he prayed his last prayer before being taken away for trial and then crucifixion. He was feeling heavy at that time. He felt overwhelmed. He felt the weight weighing on him. He felt the anger. Okay, we are back. So Jesus was overwhelmed, and yet he didn't let that to affect him. He didn't let that to stop him from being in control of emotions. Even when his disciples, disciples that were supposed to help him, they were supposed to be there. They were busy sleeping, snoring. Your master is in pain and you are sleeping. Your master is going through a challenging time and you are sleeping. But Jesus did not say, you people, you are just one kind of people. I don't even know how to describe you people. So you see the situation I'm going through, and you have the effrontery to sleep. You have the mind to be dozing. No, Jesus didn't do that. He didn't put his emotions on his disciples. Instead, he told them, could you not watch with me for a moment? Could you not watch with me for a moment? Could you not, pray with me? Because my heart is exceedingly sorrowful. So that was what he could do. Not that he will now tell his disciples, you people are just a bunch of what I don't know. No, he didn't. He didn't put off his emotions on him. Instead, he withdrew by himself and started praying. Number 2 boundary that you need to set is physical boundaries. Less wrong. Physical boundaries. Honor God with your body, because your body, the Bible says, is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So what do you do with your body? 1 Corinthians 6 verse 19 to 20 says that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And then in the ending part it says you should honor God with your body. So honor God with your body because it is the temple of the Holy Spirit. It is the temple of God. Now, I know that these days it is almost hard to see people who are in a relationship who hasn't slept with each other yet. It's so hard, it's so rare. And people argue that you can't relate to somebody for long, maybe 1 year, 2 years, and then marry them without having slept with them before you marry them. Hello, where are you from? People like us still have people around us who believe that they will not sleep with the person they want to marry until they get married. That same thing you are rushing to go and start enjoying now, by the time you get into the marriage eventually, you realize that it wasn't worth it after all. You will realize that what's even the big deal, because now you go tire now. Now you go tire. This network, okay, oh, God is watching two of us. All right. So surround yourself. That's why it's important to know the kind of circle that you belong to. If you always surrounding yourself with people who think that you must sleep with the person you want to marry before you marry them, or you need to be visiting their houses, cooking for them. See, there is no amount of cooking for a man that will make him to want to marry you if he doesn't want to marry you. If you like, be there, turn yourself to a maid and do everything that he wants you to do. He will still go and marry someone who has not even visited his house before. Why? Because it's not about playing wife role when you are not yet a wife. You are going to be shooting yourself on the foot. So avoid any situation that makes you think that you need to be a certain kind of way to get what you want. Physical intimacy is a sacred thing and must be saved, for marriage alone. So save the full expression of physical intimacy for marriage. Yes, when you're dating someone, you can, share some hugs. You can embrace each other in an open place, not in the bedroom. Oh. I did not send you that one. If I let's look at the no-go zone and then the green light area. So I'm going to tell you the no-go areas and then decide the things you can do. So the no-go zone is like something like staying overnight alone. You want to go and sleep over in his house alone. You are not setting physical boundaries. There is no physical boundaries. If you are going to start going to their house, oh my goodness, I see a lot of persons who are subjecting themselves to nothing by going to a man's house to go and spend the weekend with them. You go, you cook, you clean, you wash, you go to market, you do this, you give sex, you still go to your house. And you're waiting for the man to come and ask you, will you marry me? You wait till eternity. And that is the recipe for a heartbreak. That's a recipe for a heartbreak. Because tell me why you want to go and cook for somebody that can help themselves. If they so badly want you to cook for them, they should come and marry you. So you cannot be a permanent cook. And the funny thing I found that no matter how much you love to cook, when you are so busy with other productive and more important, not like cooking is bad. I love cooking a lot. I love to cook, especially for my family, not for everybody. I love to cook for my family. And if by chance you come around, you eat my food, why not? And you will enjoy it. However, when I have so much to do that is more important than that cooking, because there are other things that are more important than cooking, plenty of them, and I have to do them, then I can decide to, delegate that task to someone else. I won't start killing myself that I must be the one to cook it. No. At this point, I'm even considering getting a chef. Yeah. Come and be cooking. At least I have fresh meal all the time. Not that I have to cook and stock up in the freezer and then be taking it one by one because of time consumption and energy management. So what's my point? If the reason why the man is going to marry is because you are good at cooking, you always like cooking. So the same way people think that if you are having sex with somebody that you're not married, you are trying to confirm if truly they are good in bed. By the time that you get married, you will now see all of a sudden that well, this thing is not worth it. It didn't work it at all. So don't be deceived. Don't let anybody deceive you. These things are real. These things are real. So always ensure that whatever you are doing with anybody, that you are doing it from a place of wisdom. Stop acting wife role for someone that is not ready to make you a wife, for someone that is not even see you as a wife material. They just see you as a girlfriend that should be used and dumped. So wise up, ladies. Wise up. Get sense. Be a girl with sense. Another no-go zone is just this one's escalation. You know, they tell you it's just this once now. Let's just have this sex one. I have someone who they told just this once, and guess what? Ta-da! There was a baby after 9 months. Yeah, because just that once might look harmless, but it's something that will put you into everlasting regret. So she accepted the the deception of it's just this once. You think that once cannot be harmful after all, right? Hey, just this once now. That same once had also caused another pregnancy somewhere. Do it in the right place. You want to do that thing you want to do in the right place at the right time. Nobody's trying to cage you, nobody's trying to restrict you. We're trying to help, we're trying to make you to have a better life. So when the person say it's just this once, know that this is a no-go zone. Oh. Run, oh, like they say in comedy, run, oh, for your dear life. Don't stay there and be allowing yourself to get used and, yes, you can hug each other, you can embrace each other, you can hold hands, because if married people, how many of you hold hands? How many married people do you think still hold hands? How many? Not many. In fact, you have to now be taught to hold hands with your spouse when you're walking on the road. You see, anybody I see that is holding hands too much, they are not married. I go to the supermarket and I see some girls, they will just be, mushing around, holding their boyfriends, trying to fall inside the stomach, all those, things that they do. But when you eventually marry the person, you in fact, you no go see you just get tired. You say, what's all this? I beg. So don't be found there. Another no-go zone is pressure to prove love. And the green light is God honoring affection. Show affection to each other. When the person is sick, visit them, take care of them, help them get better. When they are grieving, grieve with them. That's affection. But if you have to prove your love, right? When they say prove your love to them, they are talking about you doing something nasty, doing something that you regret. That's what they're talking about. That's not what you want for your life. Because in trying to prove your love to that person, you are depreciating your value. You are going against your value system. You are blurring the lines of your boundaries. So in early dating, you see that cuddling that you want to, that cuddling section, that cuddling section that you want to be having every time in the comfort of the person's bedroom or even their living room can blur the line fast. And then you have to now know, okay, we have to set these boundaries, which will be like, we'll only go on public dates for as long as we are still dating until we are engaged. So nothing like a hotel room, you're going to a hotel room to see each other. Why? What happened to a restaurant? What happened to an open bar where you can sit and people will be seeing you when you're having your conversations? Because that's what dating season is about. Conversations, talking. So if you're not doing any of those things, you are going to start blurring those your physical boundaries. From they said Igbo say that when you start washing hand across the elbow, you are now bathing. So gradually you start washing your hand. When you don wash reach here, wetin again you wan wash? Na baff you dey baff na. Abi no be so? So why do you want to get to that point when it's now difficult for you to now stop? Why not set boundaries and say, we will wait until we are engaged and married? Because this will build anticipation and purity. Let me give you a secret. Sisters, come closer. You see that man you want him to marry you. If you have been sleeping with them, stop sleeping with them today. You want a man, when a man is getting all the things that he should get as a married person free of charge without marrying you, why will he bother to stay married? There is nothing now. I'm getting free sex. I'm getting free cooked food in my house. I'm getting free cleaning services. I'm getting free laundry service. What else? Market shopping free. Everything free. So you still expect him to have any nudge to say, let me marry this person. Lie. Kò lè work. Irọ́. Ain't not gonna work. So you need to give yourself sense today. If you want a man to truly marry you, you should be pursued. Allow him to pursue you. Stop falling into his hand just like that. Stop allowing him to get all the benefits of being a wife when you are just a girlfriend. Let him marry you first, though. Let him marry you first before you start giving whatever you need to give. Because once he has eaten that thing, it will take the grace of God for that man to still go ahead and marry. And if he marries you, he will not really value you. But if you told him, this is my boundaries, I'm not going to sleep with you until we are properly married, then they will look forward to it. They will expect it. They will push themselves to get you. Because they too want. You too want. But you want it within the confines of marriage, ordained by God in the witness of your parents. So, make sure that you set that boundary. As a purposeful and focused woman, you have to ensure that you share your non-negotiables, your boundary lines in the relationship you are in early enough. Not in the middle of it. Not when you have already crossed some of them. Not when you are now under pressure to give in. No. Before anything starts, these are my boundaries. These are my non-negotiable. No kissing. No sleeping with each other. No spending the weekend in each other's house. No sleepover. No cooking for you. Yes. Why do you need to cook? I no cook for my husband. He married me. The first meal we cooked was when we came back from our wedding. That night, I still remember in noodles because it was late. That was the only thing I cooked. That was the first time I cooked, rather. And he valued me without the cooking. I don't understand. Before we met, were you not eating? So why does it have to be like, because you have met me, I will not start cooking for you when we are not married? You want to know how good I am in cooking? No problem. I can cook in my house. If you so badly want to eat what I have cooked, I can cook in my house. And if you see in the dating, whenever we go for a date, I will hand it over to you in a food flask or whatever. You will have a taste. If that is what your criteria is for marrying. But you're not marrying a chef. You're not marrying a chef, a professional chef. You're marrying a wife. Yes, a wife can come with other packages, but that's not the only thing that makes me a wife. Being able to cook good food. Do you even know that some people can be cooking good, so after a while, their food stops tasting nice? And you need to go back to refresh your memory on how to cook good food. You can always learn. So what's it about wanting to always, start cooking and all those wife things that you want to be washing? What happened to laundry people? Give your clothes to laundry people. When you marry, eventually, you will desire to have a washing machine. If you have children like I do, where they wear almost 4 clothes in a day, except when they start going to school, they will reduce. You want to have a machine. So if washing clothes with hand makes you a wife material, what happened to people that have machine? They are no longer wife material. Abi? You say it's plate, you want to be washing plate. What happened to dishwasher? Are the people that have it are lazy people? Going to the market, there are people whose job are going to the market. Find them, pay them, let them be shopping for you, and come and call a chef to come and cook for you. Or you buy already made pot of soup. Eh, and stop all these things that we are saying. Let's stop lying to ourselves. So your boundaries can sound like, I'll wait till marriage before we have sex because I want to honor God and also honor us. Okay, I wanted to sip some water, but since I'm back, let me continue. So the reason why you have to set those boundaries is for your own safety, is for your own good. You need to have those boundaries intact. Don't let anybody to teach you otherwise or to preach to you otherwise. Set those boundaries. They are healthy for you, they are life savers, and they will help you a great lot. They will help you a great lot. All right. Now, let's quickly run. Number 3 is time and energy boundaries. Prioritize God's priorities. You need to value, the things that God values. You need to value what God values, and you need to respect what God respects. Don't minor in the major. Don't minor in the major. So you need to keep that relationship clean from any form of abuse. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, psychological abuse, whichever abuse must not be found in that relationship. Keep the relationship from bad energy and external pressures like social media. You want to put your relationship on social media. You want the whole world to know. I had a friend. She used to be a friend, but now she's an acquaintance or an old classmate. For any relationship, I will see her putting the man, sharing, doing this one, all those stuff. They will send you flower on Valentine, you share. Okay, oh, no problem. We that are on the other side, that are already inside marriage, we know how these things work. We know how these things work. We know how it works. And I can tell when a relationship is going to. I knew those relationships will not last. Because by the time you start sharing the man, when the chips are down, you have more heartbreak because now you're not just worrying about you breaking up with them. You're worrying about people that wonder, is this guy not talking with this guy again? I've not seen his picture on her status again. What's not happened? Don't share your relationship online. Don't share your relationship on social media just to get likes and get approval that doesn't count in anywhere from people. Keep the fact, the more private you keep your relationships, the more you would have a saner, if there's a word like that, a sane relationship with that person. Because what happens is social media has a way of putting pressure on you to appear a certain way. People don't really post their struggles online. The person that you see smiling on their DP today might actually be crying at the time you're looking at those beautiful pictures. So you need to know that social media is not real life. Don't carry your relationship and start going, and people will start, dragging you up and down, and you will now start feeling pressure that you put on yourself by yourself. So even the Bible said that there is time for everything. One of the things I tell my mentees is never put out your relationship with someone until you are sure that that relationship is going to work. If you are not sure that this relationship will work, if you are not sure that this relationship has been stamped, that is, we have a wedding date, we have our parents in awareness, we have everything, so we are now engaged, don't put it out there because you will even get tired. By the time you get married, surely you would not have right to post every time. Oh, we that even love to post, we still do not post every day. So calm down. You will have the time to post the person you love, but don't start putting it online when it's not yet matured. Does that make sense to you? So keep your relationship private as much as you can. Yes, you can have date nights, but you need to go with a friend. when it's still a new relationship. You need to set that boundaries. I can't go alone to see you because I do not know you so well right now. Now, if the person you're dating wants you guys to go for a date night, one off, it's okay. But if it becomes a daily thing or a regular thing that you don't even have your space again, you don't even have time for your friends, you don't even have time to care for yourself, then it becomes a problem. You need to review that process, you need to review that plan. Another boundaries that you can set is no 247 texting. The person will be sending you message every day, every hour, every time. If they need to send you, if they need you to be online for them 247, it's a problem. Set office hours when you are at work, when you are in your business, when you are in school. You can't be calling randomly. If you need something, you can of course send a text. This is why I'm doing this. This is what I need to talk to you about. It's okay. But to be calling, it doesn't make sense. To be texting all the time, you can decide and say, we will not text when you're dating, no texting after 10 p.m., no texting after 11 p.m. Whatever can wait till tomorrow, except it's an emergency that you can offer help for. Otherwise, emergency are not supposed to happen every day, right? So why do you want to make your life an emergency? If you can't set some of these boundaries, you will now start wondering why you are always stressed and worn out. Jesus said no to good things so as to say yes to God's best. Good things are good, but God's best is always the best, right? He pulled away from the rest. He pulled away. Okay, so we are back. Now, Jesus did not allow himself to be carried away by the things people wanted to do. People wanted to make him king. And he's like, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. So, overcommitting early is a very big challenge. If you commit too early, you are going to become codependent. Overcommitting early leads to codependence. That is, you can no longer survive without this person. Hey, every time 2 person you want to be on the phone. Oh, you fat, you're eating, you're calling the person. You are going to toilet, you're calling the person. You are in the bathroom, you are talking with the person. You are reading the book, your call is on one side. Now that we have WhatsApp that can call without you spending your airtime. When we were dating, it was not like that. WhatsApp was not common. There was no WhatsApp call. So it was just chatting that you could do. Then normal call is what we're using more then. Now, you have data, you can talk endlessly. To save yourself, you need to save yourself. So set the boundaries that you need to set and stand by it. So let's look at the fourth boundary to set. And that fourth boundaries is communication boundaries. How do we communicate in this relationship? When you speak life, you push that away. So you have to constantly speak life in that relationship. You speak life in different ways. You speak life in different, this network. I don't know. I honestly did not expect to have these glitches today. But anyways, let's go on. So the Bible says that the tongue, in Proverbs 18 verse 21, that the tongue, that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you cannot be speaking anyhow. You cannot speak just anyhow you like. You need to be able to know, establish some boundaries in the area of communication. There has to be things that you condone and do not condone in your relationship. There has to be things that you need to draw lines on. You must draw the line of what words can be used during a conflict or not. You are in a relationship and you're calling the person a useless person, you're calling them stupid, you're calling them. You need to learn how to communicate. You can't be speaking anyhow to your spouse. You can't be speaking anyhow to your partner. You must know how to speak. All right? So establish boundaries like no yelling when we have issues or we are having a conversation. um no name calling. We're not going to be calling each other name. No throwing shade. You will not start throwing shade on your partner. Oh, you are this, you are that. No sarcasm bombs. You are using sarcasm on your spouse or on your partner or your boyfriend. Stop it today. Now, you can have conversation with the person and say things like, okay, you have to agree as a team that we pause if our voice starts rising. We pray and then we'll retry. You can also say when we feel too overwhelmed to speak, you take a break and take a walk for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then we'll come back. By that time, you have cooled down a lot to be able to have that conversation in a more peaceful, respectful, and polite way. So you don't talk to your spouse like you are talking to an enemy. You don't also make your spouse to feel less of themselves with the way you speak to them. Now, you also establish that there is no threat when we are talking in this relationship. Something like, if you do this, if you go there, if you do this, if you make this, I will leave this relationship. If you, I will be out. Those things are not the right way to communicate. Do not guilt trip your spouse. Do not guilt trip your partner. Do not gaslight them. Do not also, now, excuse me, arguments turn toxic without this boundary. Because trust me, you're gonna have, okay, sorry about that. I lost my network for a while. Um, so let's look at the last boundary that we have to set. The last boundary is digital boundaries and social boundaries. Now you need to guard your unity and online space jealously. Guard your digital and online space jealously. Phone boundaries in marriage, they are very crucial from day one. You need to set that boundaries. There is no, we're not going to be having secret DMs. Some people lock their DMs from their spouse or their partner, and I'm wondering what is inside there. You are submitting your body, but you cannot submit your phone. Are you not deceiving yourself? Which one is more important? Your phone or yourself, your life? Because this person can wake up and kill you, but you don't think about it. You want to protect your phone because you know that you're doing some irregular things with that phone. No unknown passwords or PIN, as the case may be. Some of you don't have your spouse's fingerprint. If your phone has fingerprints, your spouse's fingerprint is not there. That is wrong. Very wrong. They should have access to it. What if there is an emergency? Who do you think will be there first to help if they are not they are not privy to all of these things? And no endless scrolling during dates. You see people, you come for a date, your eyes on it, you are scrolling your phone all through. Your eyes is on that phone throughout. And no oversharing of your relationship online. I've already spoken in depth about that you need to avoid sharing your relationship too much online. The Bible says you should submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. So submitting in relationship is like knowing that I can't hide things from my spouse. I need to be as open as possible as I could to this my spouse, to this my partner, because I need them to progress. I need them in my life to help me in so many ways. Now, all devices must be put down when you're having a talk with your spouse. Don't, your partner is talking, you're looking at your phone. that is you neglecting them. That is you ignoring them. No matter what your excuses are, if you need to really do something on your phone at that time they're speaking to you, you can just tell them, excuse me, please, can you give me 5 minutes to round up what I'm doing so I can give you my full attention? I don't want to be having conversation and have to be looking at my phone. They will understand. Who will not like such things? But the problem is you don't even tell them. They are talking to you. You are saying, they are not even focused. Your mind is not there. All right. So make sure that you secure your social and digital boundaries. Transparency builds trust. Transparency builds trust, and openness encourages vulnerability. Trust is hard to build but easy to be destroyed. Now let's look at your 5 action plan. How do you now set these boundaries? Right? It's not just good enough to hear, you need to do. First, pray and discern. Ask God, what boundaries do I need here? And then you write it down. The Bible said, if you ask wisdom of me, I'm going to do what? Give it to you. The second thing is you need to communicate clearly. Don't assume that they know. Don't assume that they heard it. And make sure that you are clear and firm on your boundaries. My yes is my yes. My no is my no. I have to be standing in one place. I know that, okay, this is what I stand for or not stand for. Okay? You have to be kind about it, but be firm. If you say, I need space to recharge solo on my own twice a week, they should be able to respect that. If you are doing all this, also expect pushback, because it won't always be easy. Nehemiah, when he was rebuilding the walls, was facing different trials, and then because he was doing great work, people came to attack him and make sure it doesn't hold, but God came through for him. So don't come with the ideology of I can't come down to my level, to this person's level, or you just hang in there. No, you have to adapt. A godly man will adapt if you share your boundaries with them and make it clear that I'm not going to change about this. Now, enforce consistent. Don't do it today and tomorrow you say you will not do it. You said I'm not sleeping with you today. Tomorrow you say maybe we should just do it fast so that I can go where I'm going to. That's not you being consistent. You have to be consistent. Boundaries that doesn't have teeth are just mere wishes. You need to follow through in a loving way, but be honest and truthful and firm about it. Now, you need to review all the time. Review once in a month or once in a week. Review and then make adjustments when necessary. By the time you have your monthly check-in, how you have conversations, how is our boundaries, are we able to keep our boundaries like we promised and all of that, you are already making progress. Let's look at a few pitfalls that people fall into and how you can avoid them. Is number one, fear of seeming too unspiritual or selfish. People think that by setting boundaries you're not being spiritual, or by setting boundaries you are being too carnal or selfish about yourself. No, boundaries are still worship. Boundaries are still worship. Another pitfall is weak enforcement. Today you are doing it, tomorrow you are not doing it. Today you are giving it, tomorrow you are not giving it. Please be consistent. That's going to help you. Then ignoring red flag. Most of you are ignoring red flag. You are seeing anger issues in the person. You are seeing cheating in the person. You are seeing lying all the time in the person. What else do you need to know this person is inconsistent and I cannot have anything to do with them? So you need to walk away when it gets to that point where this person is not even helping the matter. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person, the Bible says. So if that man does not respect your no, if he doesn't respect your no, then you should take a walk, because God protects his children and his daughters especially. He will not allow you to fall into the wrong hand if you listen to him. So one thing I want you to go home and do today as a challenge is that I need you to go and identify one boundary that you need among these 5 boundaries: physical, emotional, communication, time and energy, and then we have the digital and social. If you have all of this in place, then you are good. If you do not have it, That's why you need a mentor who will guide you to create these structural boundaries and keep to it. Don't let anyone to take it away from you, because that is going to hurt you in the future. All right. So identify one boundary. Which one is it going to be? Is it the no late night calls, no late night outings, no late night chatting? Whichever one, cheating, whatever, please enforce it and stand on it. So make sure you have that conversation with your partner and let them understand why you are doing what you're doing. Now, boundaries invite deeper love. Sisters, I want to encourage you today to know that boundaries are there to provide deeper love. They are God's way of saying, I've got a beautiful plan for you. Protect it. So if you don't protect it, it's not up to God, it is up to you. Like Ruth, who guarded her heart and followed Boaz, even though she had already married the first time. You need to set boundaries to yourself. Set boundaries today, and then you watch how God will move on your behalf today. You are a woman of noble character. You too can. Even though Ruth was defined as being a woman of noble character, you too can become that woman of noble character. And I hope that this section has been amazing and helpful for you. If you want to watch this again, you can always come back to my timeline and watch it. If you didn't start from the beginning, please find time to catch replay, watch from the beginning, and let's have conversation. And also, if you want to be a part of our mentorship program, where I teach ladies on how to live a purposeful life and begin their journey in life, then we want to be in our platform and our community. Thank you so much, everyone who was a part of this meeting today and who has made this possible. Thank you, and do have an amazing rest.